What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and achieving at least one goal today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Subaru Impreza Base. Huge thank you to Tyler Wright over at Stohlman Subaru of Sterling, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you guys are interested in this particular Impreza or any Subaru product, I'll be sure to have Tyler's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. Man, a couple of minutes ago we had some nice cloud cover, but now the sun has peeked back out again, and between the sun and the humidity it makes it pretty easy to sweat. That might be TMI, but with that stuff said, first let's talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Subaru Impreza Base, and this particular one has been painted in magnetite gray metallic. I think this is going to be one of the more popular colors for the Impreza because it seems like nowadays everybody is either buying a white vehicle, a black vehicle, and or a gray vehicle. Now, another couple of things I wanted to mention is that for 2024, the Impreza as a whole did get refreshed both on the interior and on the exterior. And by the way, there is no more manual option for the 2024 model year, and there's no more sedan option. So the hatch is the only configuration you can get. And by the way, there are 3 trim levels to choose from now for the 2024 Impreza, starting with the base like we have here today. Middle range is the Sport, and then the loaded up model is the RS. Again, we have the base here today. I do have videos both of the Sport and the RS if you wanted to check those out after finishing this video, please. But let's start over here at our headlights. So with the base, you get LED steering responsive headlights with automatic high beams, as well as standard turn signals. And for the 2024 refresh, I think you have a much more aggressive and sporty design with the different angles and lines, again, than the 2023 and below model year. That's my opinion. I think it looks a lot better. You can agree or disagree with me in the comments down below, depending on if you agree or disagree with me. But working our way to the center of the front end, let's talk about this front grille. So with the base, you get a satin black grille with 2 gloss black grille bars on both sides of your Subaru logo. The Subaru logo obviously is at the center of your front grille. And then working our way down just a tad, you get a satin black lower grille as well as satin black outer grills on the outer sides of your front bumper. I'll give you guys a closer look at what the outer grills look like there. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that if you see right here, see that little circular spot, that is where on the Sport and on the RS you would find LED fog lights. Again, the base model does not get those LED fog lights, but it's kind of interesting because it kind of has like a propeller look to it. If you take a closer look, you see what I mean by the propeller with those 3 different fins. Just something I thought I'd point out. Kind of interesting looking. And again, on the Sport and on the RS, that is where you would find your LED fog lights. Last but not least, up here you do get 5.1 inches of ground clearance for those who are wondering about that. Now, like I mentioned, I really like the design of the 2024 model year. So one of the things that I like about this, and also this is totally out of left field, but you also get this nice fender crease right here that reminds me of the new body F-150s. I think that really adds to the look of the vehicle and just gives it a sense of dimension, if that makes sense. Now, you also do get active torque vectoring if you were wondering about that, but if you're getting the base model, you probably don't care, but maybe you do because you wanted the Sport, but the Sport was a little too much. So you still get active torque vectoring with this, you just don't get the Sport tuned suspension. Now, this particular one has been optioned with the $350 16-inch silver alloy wheels. You can take a closer look at that. The standard wheels that come with this, they're steel wheels with a wheel cover, and they look very base model-ish. So this is an option that I would probably recommend getting if you don't want your vehicle to look like a total base model. But anyways, back into these wheels. They are a 16-inch silver alloy wheel, and they are wrapped in 205/55 Firestone FT 140 tires. There's a closer look at the tread pattern for those who were curious. A little side profile there. But working our way into these side view mirrors, with the base you get satin black mirror caps, and they are manual folding and power adjustable as standard. This one doesn't have this option, but I thought I might point it out for those who are, wanting this option. You could get the optional $290 auto dimming exterior mirrors with the approach light. So basically this mirror would auto dim, that mirror would auto dim if there's a vehicle behind you at night with their high beams on. And then you would also get an approach light, which is just essentially a puddle light. Also, starting from the top, you get these fixed crossbar mounting points there and there. So if you wanted to mount like one of those bike holder things up top here, you could do that. That is what these mounting points are for. You also get black window trim as well as body color door handles. Now, you do not get keyless access because this does get a point and stick key. So that's a closer look at that. You also get a satin black shark fin antenna and a body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light at the center of the roof spoiler. You also get a rear window defroster and a single speed rear wiper. Thought I might point this out. You get a black taillight bezel on the base, the Sport, and the RS. So that's a closer look at that. Working our way to the back end. Obviously, you may be able to tell Subaru logo located at the center of the hatch. You get chrome badging on the lower section of the hatch, and then beneath your Subaru logo is where you'll find the little pad to open up the hatch itself, and then just to the right of that pad is where you'll find your backup camera. Backup cameras were now mandated in the United States from 2018 and up, so pretty much every new vehicle has to legally have a backup camera here in the United States. On the driver's side of your hatch, you have a little cargo area light, which is always nice. Now, there are a couple options back here. So excuse me, this has the $132 cargo tray as well as the $132 all-weather mats. These are excuse me, the all-weather mats, basically just a rubber floor mat, and then this is the cargo tray. It's basically like a rubber floor mat for the cargo area. One thing that's also pretty cool is that you get these grocery bag holders. There's one, there's two, that's the third one down there, and then that's the fourth one. So you get 4 grocery bag holders, which is always nice. I don't believe you get a spare tire. I think you get a tire inflator kit, which is what that is right there. So no spare tire, you get a tire inflator kit. And honestly, I would say you could probably fit maybe 5 or 6 carry-on suitcases back here if you stack them. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you could lay one either across like that, or 5 and 6, if that makes sense. So honestly, a decent amount of storage space back here. But there is one more thing, or 2 more things I wanted to point out, is that just like the Crosstrek, just like the Impreza Sport and the Impreza RS, you now have this nice little pattern here on this area of the trunk. So you can see it kind of looks like mountains. You get a little car right there, pretty cool. And then last but not least, you do also or this one, excuse me, has been optioned with the $132 rear bumper applique. So from about right here, not sure if you can see that little like line, from there to over here is basically a piece of paint protection film. So you can scratch this up all you want, but it's basically just a piece of plastic that's going to get scratched, and it is self-healing rather than actually scratching up the paint itself. So let's say you're loading up a suitcase and you scratch that, you're not scratching the paint. You basically have this protective sticker here that's going to protect your paint from, you know, loading and unloading miscellaneous items and stuff like that. Here's a little back shot of the Impreza. Now, coming down just a tad bit on both sides of the rear bumper, you have reflectors, and then you get a satin black rear valance at the bottom of your bumper. There's a closer look at that. Now, I did want to point this out. You do get a 370 rear axle ratio, and then also for the 2024 Impreza and the 2024 Crosstrek, you now get your fuel tank capacity upped from 13.2 gallons to 16.6 gallons. So a nearly 3-gallon bump from, again, the 2023 model year to the 2024 model year. So that basically equates to a larger fuel range. So instead of, let's say, you know, 300 miles, maybe you get 400 miles. I don't know exactly what it is, but 87 octane will do you just fine. That's a look at the fuel door, unleaded fuel only. There are no octane requirements with the Impreza as a whole. Actually, I don't think the RS or the Sport requires any sort of 91 or 93, but let me know what you guys think of the 2024 model year refresh in the comments down below for the Impreza. Personally, I don't see how anybody would not like it. I think it looks way better than the 2023. But again, everybody has their right to their own opinion. That's just my opinion. You can let me know in the comments down below if you agree or you disagree with me. We can have some friendly banter. But with that said, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2-liter naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder that makes 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a Lineartronic continuously variable transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 9 seconds. If you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 27 miles per gallon in the city, 34 miles per gallon on the highway for 30 miles per gallon combined with standard all-wheel drive. Now, I do know that those, you know, horsepower figures and the torque figures might seem a little bit underwhelming, but I think this more than makes up for it with its fuel economy. And then if this is not enough power, Now for the 2024 model year, there is the Impreza RS. Obviously it's going to cost you more money, but it bumps you up from a 2 liter to a 2.5 liter, and you make like 187-ish horsepower. I'll put the exact horsepower figure on screen right now. And really, the fuel economy doesn't suffer that much, but again, it's going to cost you an additional $5,000-$7,000 over the base model. But if you guys are enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm now on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I can't get there without your support. I wanted to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to all 14,000 subscribers of mine. I think we just hit 14,000 subscribers like 3 days ago, so thank you so much. You guys are the reason that I continue to do this, and you guys are helping me get towards my dream, so thank you so much. With that stuff said, let's move on into the interior. Moving into the interior, we're doing a throwback to 2010 with the point and stick key. I'm just kidding, but you do get a point and stick key with the base, whereas when you get the Sport or the RS, you do get keyless access and push button start. But you get the point and stick key. Obviously you have your unlock function, your lock function. This button is honestly useless because you don't have a power lift gate, but basically it just like opens up the latch for your hatch. That's what that button does. And obviously all the way at the bottom, you have your panic function. So no keyless access. You do either have to stick your key in that keyhole there, or you can press the unlock button and that will unlock the vehicle. But let's step on into the interior and let's see what the driver's side door panel has to offer. So all of this area right here is all cloth wrapped. You get a vinyl wrapped armrest that is nicely padded, and then you also get a great spot you could set a phone. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max and it fits in that door panel very nicely. That's one thing I really appreciate that Subaru does, is that they're always thinking of great places to set your phone, and this is one of the bigger phones on the market and it still fits down in there. You get a black door handle. This little scroll knob right here, or whatever you want to call that, is to power adjust your adjustable side view mirrors, unlock and your lock functions. You get automatic up and down windows in the front, but you do not get automatic up or down windows in the back. And then that button right there will restrict your passenger window privileges. Great spot. You can set a Deer Park water bottle, and then you get a little bit of miscellaneous storage space. Again, the iPhone 14 Pro Max down in there for size reference. Not that much storage space down in there, but you can make do with what you got and put what you need to in there. So taking a look at the driver's seat, you do get a manually adjustable driver's seat and a manually adjustable passenger seat. After all, this is the base model, but that's totally fine. That's less things to break. So definitely a lot of pluses to getting the base, because there's definitely less things to break, and you know, stuff might last you a lot longer than if you had the power seats. But anyway, one of my gripes to the new 2024 Crosstrek and the 2024 Impreza, doesn't matter if it's the loaded up Crosstrek or the loaded up Impreza, they did away with the adjustable headrest. I think that was a massive mistake, Subaru. You should definitely have kept the adjustable headrest, but again, these headrests are no longer adjustable for the 2024 model year, which is very unfortunate. That is something that I always appreciated with the Subaru Imprezas and the Crosstreks and pretty much every other Subaru model. But again, they did away with the adjustable headrest. Massive mistake in my opinion. But anyways, like I said, you don't get keyless access, so you do have to stick the key in the ignition yourself. So come over here. I hope you know how to do that, and the vehicle will fire up. I am going to roll some windows down, and I'm going to turn this air conditioning system off because that's going to mess with the audio. So I'll roll some windows down and we'll get going. All right, starting over here, this scroll knob is to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. Coming over to here, you get a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Basically what I mean by that is the steering wheel will come towards you, it'll go away from you, and then it also moves up and down to your liking. But let's take a look at this stock on the left hand side of the steering wheel. So this is your headlight control stock, your turn signal control stock, and your high beam control stock. So first, let's take a listen to the turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like. And again, this is your headlight control stock. All the way down, headlights off, headlights automatic. That's parking lights on, and then all the way up is the headlights in the always on position. And I would hope that you would know how to use the high beam controls. And then on the right hand side of the steering wheel, you have your windshield wiper control stock for your front wipers and your rear singular wiper. You get a vinyl wrapped steering wheel, obviously Subaru logo at the center. This is also your airbag and your horn. So let's take a listen to the horn. That is what the horn sounds like on the 2023 Impreza. It's kind of funny sounding. But over here, that's to go back on a track, that's to go forward on a track, that is to switch between your different audio sources. And then this button right here is to control your 4.2-inch productivity screen located at the center of the dash. That's to pick up on a phone call. That is to mute the audio system as well as hang up on a phone call. That is to speak to the vehicle, and then you have your volume controls all the way on the bottom. And then as standard with the base, which is very, very nice, you get adaptive cruise control with lane centering. So these are your adaptive cruise control settings on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. But now let's go into our dash. So on the left-hand side, you have the RPM gauge, and on the right-hand side, you have your speedometer. Down here, this is your coolant temperature gauge, and then this is your fuel gauge. Again, this is your 4.2-inch productivity screen. Up top here, you have your instant fuel economy. So basically we're not moving, so it's basically saying we're not getting very good fuel economy, obviously, because we're getting 0 miles an hour right now, but we're really not burning that much fuel. So we're not moving, so that's why it says the MPGs are not very good. Anyways, that's the time, that's the temperature, that's the digital speedometer readout, that's the transmission status stuff, that's your trip A information, and then where it says 10 flat, that is your odometer. If you see this trip reset button right here, that will reset to the trip B information right there. So if you press and hold on this, those numbers will go back down to 0. Again, to control this screen, you have these arrows right here. So I'm just basically gonna click up like that, and that's gonna go us into the different screens. So that is the audio stuff. That's your tire pressure monitoring system stuff. This is a pretty cool feature. So basically, when you guys, stop at a stoplight and the vehicle turns itself off with the auto stop start system, it will count how long the vehicle has been off for and how much fuel has been saved on that trip with the auto stop start system. I might be able to catch that for you on the driving portion of the review, but then that's some analytical fuel data, and your fuel range. Keep going, and then that brings you back into this screen. This is the screen that I would personally leave my vehicle on if this was my vehicle. All of this up top here is all vinyl wrapped dash. And then working our way into this screen. This might look a little bit interesting, but this is new for the 2024 model year. So this is new to the base model. The Sport and the RS both get the 11.6-inch infotainment system with the wireless Apple CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto. But again, this is the base model, so you get a dual 7-inch multimedia system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. So I'm gonna start with the physical buttons. This is your hazard button. This is your volume control knob. If you press and hold on that, that will turn the screens off. That's your front defroster. You have your driver temperature controls there. You get your passenger temperature controls on this side. That right there is for your rear defroster, and then that is your tuning knob. But then if you press and hold on that, that will bring you into your different tone settings. Give it a minute, let it pop up, and then you can see you can adjust the bass, the mid, the treble, the balance, etc., and so on and so forth. And you have these middle buttons between the two screens. So you get your radio, your media, your home, your phone, and your apps button. Clicking on the home button will control this top screen. So up top here, you have your driver profile button. That will bring you into that right there. Press the home button to exit out of that. Then that is the ambient exterior temperature. That's the time, and then that is how much connectivity my phone has and how much battery my phone has. So going on the home screen, you have your apps, your settings, your phone, Starlink, radio, and media stuff. And then the next screen, you have your display off. That will turn the display off, obviously. You got your valet mode, and then you can add a shortcut. That's kind of about it for what we got going on up top there. Coming down a little bit, you have your vehicle control stuff. We can click into that. You can turn the traction control on or off, and everything else. You can turn the steering responsive headlights off. You can go into your driver assistance stuff, so you can go into your pre-collision braking system and your lane departure warning stuff. Then you have some more settings here, and then you can turn auto stop start on or off by the push of that button. Swiping over to here, you have all these different things. Auto vehicle hold. Basically, if you guys are stuck in traffic and you press that button right there, that will hold the vehicle in place by itself with its own braking system. That's a very nice feature in heavy traffic. And then that is also to turn your vehicle dynamics control on or off. You can go between your different maintenance stuff. It lets you know when you need engine oil and so on and so forth. You can also go into driving statistics and stuff like that. But anyways, these buttons here pertain to the top screen, and then all of this is just touch. And then all the way at the bottom here is your climate control system. So this part of the climate control system is always on the screen. If you want like the climate to take up the entire screen, you would click right here, and then that is all your different climate control stuff that you can adjust here. One thing that I think is pretty cool about Subarus is that you can either split the air going on your face and on your feet 50-50, or you can do like 75% of the air blowing on your face and 25% blowing on your feet. There's a closer look at that. That is a pretty cool thing. But that's kind of about it for those two screens. Coming down a little bit more, you get a auxiliary jack and a USB-A port. Again, iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't know where it is at the moment. Oh, it's down here. But anyway, it will fit down in there just for size reference. Quite a bit of storage space there. And then you also have low shift mode. So you go into drive, flip that over to the left, and then that puts you into low. You get an electronic parking brake. Just pull up on that and the parking brake will engage. It lets you know that it's engaged with that little red light there. If you want to disengage the parking brake, make sure you push your foot down on the brake and then push on that again, and that will disengage the parking brake. Last but not least, you also get a 12-volt power outlet right here, and 2 cup holders, another vinyl wrapped little area right here. Camera overheated, that was what that abrupt edit was, but anyway, you get a vinyl wrapped center console, and then there's really nothing down in here besides storage space, and I would say about 55% of my forearm will fit down in there. So honestly, quite a bit of storage space down in there considering the size of this vehicle. Moving over to here, you get some gray trim, and then opening this up, you do not get a lockable glove box, but you get quite a bit of storage space in that glove box. Again, for size reference, that's an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so you can fit exactly what you need to in there besides your owner's manual. Maybe some napkins, maybe some straws, maybe some snacks, stuff like that. Passenger side door panel looks pretty much the exact same as what you would find on the driver's side, but working our way up to here, this is the only option really besides the other options in the trunk area that this vehicle has. So this is the $405 mirror compass with the home link. So basically it's an auto dimming rear view mirror with the compass and the home link. Home link is basically your universal garage door opener. So if you own a house with 3 different individual garage bays, you can open up those 3 different garage bays with these 3 different buttons. And then you can also turn the auto dimming rear view mirror on or off by the push of this button right here. Green signifies that the auto dimming system is on, and then up top here lets you know if your passenger airbag is on or off. Driver gets a light, passenger gets a light, boom and boom. And then this little thing right here is for your light control. So when you flip it to the right, now when I open up the door, the interior lights do not turn on. However, if I flip this over to the left, now when I open up the door, all the interior lights will turn on. Anyway, actually, well, just these 2 lights, because this one is by itself. So when I have that in the center, anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But this is what your visor looks like. You can set your registration right here with this little band. It will hold it. And then opening this up, you get a vanity mirror, but no vanity lights. And then opening up the visor itself. The visor itself doesn't slide forwards and backwards, but this little piece right here will slide forwards and backwards. I personally like when the whole visor slides forwards and backwards. It gives you some more coverage, as you may be able to tell, rather than this little slider here. But I'm glad I have a slider rather than nothing, so always nice. Then on this side, driver gets an OPU panel, which, you know, 50% of the time. Sometimes manufacturers include that, sometimes they don't. This one happens to have an OPU panel over here for the driver. And then over there on the passenger side, you also get an OPU panel, and the visor on that side looks pretty much the exact same. Now, I did want to go over a couple of things that come standard, just like a couple of things that come standard with this. So this does have the EyeSight driver assistance system with adaptive cruise control and lane centering, as well as a dual zone climate control system. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You guys can take a look at the safety stuff. You can take a look at the warranty stuff, or basically whatever you want to, maybe the optional stuff. But basically, I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Subaru Impreza Base is spec'd is $25,236. I think considering what you get, you know, this doesn't have really any of the frills, but it has everything you need. It'll get you from point A to point B. It's comfortable, it rides great, drives great. You know, the power, it's okay. But I mean, again, this has everything that you need. It just doesn't have all the things that you don't need. So if you're looking for a brand new vehicle for about $25,000, at least go and take a look at this. I'm not saying you got to go and buy it, but I'm saying just give this thing a look. I think you might be surprised by how nice it is. And for a $25,000 vehicle to come with adaptive cruise control, that's a win in my book. But I do want to show you what we got going on in these rear seats before we moved into the driving portion of the video. So opening up this rear door here, you can see pretty basic. All of this up top here is all like this black plastic material. You get a black door handle. Again, you do not get automatic up or down windows back here, but the window does roll all the way down. Another great spot, you could set your phone. Then you get a nicely padded armrest. Again, that's some more vinyl. Great spot. You could set a Deer Park water bottle here, and then you get a little bit of miscellaneous storage space to the left of that. And by a little, I mean a little. But then this is what the rear seats look like. That's a look from the outside. Now let's move into the inside. So yeah, you do not get a center fold down armrest. You do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat, but you do get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. There is no connectivity back here. You can see, like on the RS model, this is where you get a couple USB ports, but this one again doesn't have it. But up top here, you get a OPU panel and a spot you could set your dry cleaning. That's what that looks like there. That side looks the exact same, and then you have a dome light for back here as well. I am 5'9", and I am adjusted behind myself. I actually have quite a bit of leg room, quite a bit of knee room, and I would say, you know, quite a bit of headroom as well. So this vehicle is more spacious here in the second row, I think, than you would expect it to be just by taking a look at it from the outside. I would say that the seats in the second row are definitely a little bit more firm than that you would find in the front. Like the front are a little bit more comfortable, but these seats aren't uncomfortable by any means. They're just a little bit firmer than what you would find in the front. And honestly, I've noticed that really with every manufacturer. They try to make the driver's seats more comfortable, obviously, than what you got in the second row. So that's really about it. That's what we talked about, the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I will see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now on to the driving portion of the review, where I always start my videos here, at least when I film out this way. We go 5 miles an hour over these speed bumps, and then I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Nothing will ever be a 10 because perfection doesn't exist in this world. So again, 5 miles an hour. Did pretty well over the first one. Let's see how it does over the second one. About 5. I'm gonna give this thing a 7.8 on a scale of 1 to 10. That is a good score. It did very well over those bumps. It was just a little bit firm, but again, you know, let's see. With that firm, handles pretty well. So yeah, it might have like a decently firmish ride. It's not like a firm ride, but considering I just did a video with a Subaru Ascent, it has a firmer ride than that. So with that firmer-ish ride comes better handling, and this thing definitely handles pretty dang well, even though it doesn't have a sport tuned suspension. So a couple things I wanted to mention is when I said earlier on in the video, if this isn't enough power for you, you can always step up to the RS. So you get a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, whereas this is a 2 liter 4-cylinder. And you can definitely feel a little bit of a difference in power between the 2 liter and the 2.5 liter, but it's not like a massive difference. It's really only like an additional 30 some horsepower. But it is noticeable a little bit. But even, you know, this has got enough get up and go. You know, I'm just like putting my foot in the gas, and you can see we accelerated up to the speed limit pretty easily. So I don't feel like this has like it doesn't feel like it needs more power. But you know, if you're coming from something with a bigger motor that's faster than this, you know, this is going to feel a little bit slow. But you know, like I said, it makes up for it with its fuel economy. I mean, this thing gets really, really good fuel economy. So if, you know, this isn't enough power for you, again, you can always step up to the RS. That's the more sporty variant of the Impreza. But again, this thing gets really, really good fuel economy. So where it kind of lacks in horsepower, it really makes up for it in its fuel economy. And honestly, you know, when you're just like cruising around town and, you know, going from stoplight to stoplight, it doesn't really feel like it's that anemic. It's really when you start flooring it and you're doing a 0 to 60 or something like that where it really starts to feel like it needs a little bit more power, because it kind of falls on its face, you know, around 40, 50 miles an hour, 45, 50 miles an hour. So, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. But if you're not going to be doing 0 to 60s and you're not going to be doing like solely highway driving, then I think you'll be totally fine. Again, once you like get up to 60, 70 miles an hour, your passing power is going to be a little bit limited, because again, you know, it doesn't make that much power, it doesn't make that much torque, but you can see right off the line, it gets up and goes to the speed limit, no problem. I mean, we just crushed everybody at that light, and I'm just accelerating normally. So that is definitely nice. I'm going to get in this lane over here because there's a little bit of traffic. Brakes are great, very linear feeling brake feel, and this thing just stops very, very easily. I mean, this is a relatively light vehicle, and I think the brakes definitely suit this vehicle very, very well, and I don't feel like it needs any more brakes than it has, because I think this thing will stop on a dime. Here's a little acceleration noise. little acceleration for you there. And then once we pass through this light, I'll give you guys about 15 seconds to hear what the wind noise, the road noise, and so on and so forth sounds like. So here you go. Coming up on a bridge, so take a listen. This definitely sounds better insulated than the 2023. The 2023 is a little bit louder when it comes to the road noise and the wind noise, so I think they added a little bit more sound deadening for the 2024 model year. Not like a ton more, but it's definitely like a noticeable amount more sound deadening. It's a little bit more refined, obviously, than last year's model year. So I mean, that's just kind of what you would expect. They always try to, you know, evolve and make themselves better as time goes on, and that's exactly what they did, because the road noise is definitely less in the 2024 model year as compared to the 2023. And now that we're at a stoplight, I wanted to say Tyler, who has definitely helped me out with the Subaru videos, is actually leaving the Subaru dealership. He's moving to another state. So I just wanted to say, Tyler, if you're watching this video, which you're probably not, but thank you so much for all the help and the time that you've put in to helping me with these videos. It's definitely helped me grow my channel. So I really appreciate your time put in. I'm gonna miss you. It's going to be sad not dealing with you because you've always been great, but you know, on to bigger and better things. I understand, but definitely going to be sad. And you know, that's one of the things, like with the YouTube thing, it's like, you know, you deal with these people for a long time, they start to become your friends, and then, you know, they have to, you know, everybody's got to move on to, you know, different things in life. And this is just one of those times where it's, you know, kind of sad, because, you know, I don't really have coworkers per se, but he's kind of like a coworker in a way, because, you know, he's who I deal with, and, you know, it's just kind of sad when that kind of stuff happens, but it's life. It is what it is. But anyway, here's a nice little acceleration. 50% throttle. There you go, up to 50 miles an hour at about 50% throttle. So like I said, you know, once you start getting up into the higher RPMs, that's where you're like, okay, well, it's not the most powerful thing in the world, but it'll get you where you need to go, you know, and it'll do it efficiently. So at that, so very good drive, considering this is a $25,000 vehicle. There are very few $25,000 vehicles nowadays. And I gotta say, you know, for $25,000, this is a great vehicle. I mean, what other $25,000 vehicle do you get adaptive cruise control in? Let me know. I'm actually like seriously curious. Let me know in the comments what other $25,000 vehicle you get adaptive cruise control as standard with. I'm sure there's probably a couple Nissans and stuff, but I think this is a great value at the price point. You know, the seat's comfortable, the driving position is comfortable, and you know, I would like a little bit more power, but for $25,000, you get a brand new vehicle with 0 miles on it. I think this is a great value, especially considering everything you get. Like I said earlier in the video, you know, you don't get all the frills like a 360 camera system or like blind spot monitoring or a pano roof and stuff like that, but this thing has everything that you need. You know, it gets you from point A to point B, it does it efficiently, and you know, you get these nice 2 screens, you get a pretty decent sound system for $25,000, and you know, it's just adaptive cruise control. $25,000 vehicle, that is always a win. But once this light turns green, I'm gonna take a left onto this road, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a flooring. I'm gonna floor the vehicle so you can see what the acceleration is like then. All right, let's do a little acceleration test. So it'll probably be floored from about like 20 miles an hour. So floored. And that is a floored from about 20 to 55 miles per hour. So like I said, once you start getting higher up in the speed, you're like, okay, well, it could use a little bit more power, but really, I would say 60% of the people watching this video, maybe more, don't care so much about the power and the acceleration. They just want something that's comfortable, something that looks good, and something that has, you know, everything that you need and nothing that you don't. And that's kind of what this is. I think it's, again, a great value at $25,000. This thing isn't built to go fast. This thing is built to be comfortable. It's to be an affordable vehicle that's brand new, that's nice, that comes with, you know, wired CarPlay, wired Android Auto, and, you know, a couple other little features. So overall, I think this is a great vehicle for maybe a starter car, or even for somebody who, you know, doesn't care about a vehicle, and they just want something that's going to get them from point A to point B. They don't care about all the frills. They don't care that it's an Audi. They don't care that it's a Mercedes. They just want something that's comfortable, that's nice, reliable, and gets very good fuel economy, and that is what this is. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I can't get there without your support. So please, if you took anything from this video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, so I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys would just take a second to do those things. But again, thank you to each and every one of my 14,000 subscribers. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So thank you so much. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I truly, truly appreciate all of your support. But again, that's it for today's video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.